So, when you think of Tokyo, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it those towering neon skyscrapers? Or maybe those super serene temples? Or, that famous scramble crossing? Well, the truth is, it's all of that, all at once. And in this explainer, we're going to peel back those stereotypes layer by layer to find the real beating heart of this incredible city. So, let's dive right in.
Okay, this right here, this one idea is pretty much the key to unlocking the whole city. You've got to understand that Tokyo isn't just a place with a bunch of different neighborhoods. No, its entire identity is built on this friction between total opposites. I mean, picture this, a crazy labyrinth of skyscrapers jammed right up against these unbelievably quiet historic parks. It's like a retro-futurist dream world sitting side by side with these pockets of pure serenity. And that's exactly what we're going to get into. At first glance, Tokyo can feel like the least subtle part of Japan, right? It's all just loud, flashy, kind of like window dressing. But the thing is, that's all just a really clever disguise. It's like a cloak thrown over this incredibly rich and complex culture. And you can only really start to see it when you look at the seams, the places where these completely different worlds crash into each other. All right, so to really see this in action, we're kicking things off in Shinjuku. Just think of this area as a perfect little miniature version of Tokyo itself. I mean, this is where you'll find the busiest railway station on the planet, the city government, and yeah, some of the most jaw-dropping contradictions you'll ever see. So you step through these huge red gates into Kabukicho, and bam, you're in a whole other reality. It's gritty, it's kind of seedy, completely soaked in artificial light. And yet, here's the crazy part. It's famous for being one of the safest red light districts in all of Asia. It's this surreal jumble of bars and restaurants that somehow feels totally chaotic, but also weirdly orderly at the same time. That, right there, that's our first impossible contrast. And right in the middle of all this madness is the legendary robot restaurant. And let me tell you, it is not about the food. It is all about sensory overload. It's like it takes every single Japanese stereotype you can think of and just cranks the dial all the way up to 11. We're talking a bizarre, explosive battle between giant robots and dancers. It's something you can't even really explain. You have to see it to believe it. But then, literally just a few steps away from all that neon chaos of Kabukicho, you stumble upon Golden Gai. And this place, it's a total time capsule. It's one of the very few areas with old-school architecture that managed to survive everything, natural disasters, the war, you name it. It's completely engulfed by these massive modern skyscrapers, and it's just these 6 tiny narrow alleyways packed with little bars where artists and musicians go to escape the city. The shift in atmosphere, it's so fast it's like whiplash. It's profound. And these contrasts, they don't stop. They even show up in places you'd expect to be peaceful. Take Shinjuku Goyen. It's not just a park. It's basically 3 different worlds rolled into one. I mean, one minute you're wandering through a classic Japanese garden with like 1,500 cherry trees. The next, you're suddenly in a formal French garden that looks like it was plucked straight out of Versailles. And then you can just stroll over to a classic English landscape garden. It's this wild global cocktail of nature, smack dab in the middle of the city. Okay, let's move on. We're heading to our next spot, Shibuya. So if Shinjuku is like a mini version of the city's layout, then Shibuya is the thumping heartbeat of its culture. This is the place where modern trends are literally born, and it's also where they smash head-on into these deep, unmovable traditions. Now this is probably the image that comes to mind for a lot of you, the one and only Shibuya crossing. When those lights change, it's not just a crowd, it's a literal sea of people just flooding the intersection from every single direction. It's the perfect visual for the energy, the pace, and just the sheer scale of the city. It is organized chaos at its absolute finest. And believe it or not, just a short walk from that insane crossing is Harajuku, the absolute epicenter of youth fashion. And I gotta say, this quote on the screen nails it. Harajuku is a wacky hodgepodge of all things over the top. I mean, just imagine. Punk, cosplay, that super kawaii, cute style, and the boldest colors you've ever seen, all mashed together on one street. This is where Japan's new trends get made, right then and there. And this is where the contrast just becomes absolutely staggering. You step away from all that wild fashion in Harajuku, you walk through what feels like a dense forest right in the middle of the city, and then you arrive here, at the Meiji Jingu Shrine. The change is It's breathtaking. You literally go from the peak of modern chaotic street style to this place of deep, profound peace and tradition. And it all happens in just a few minutes. But what makes this so incredibly significant is who this shrine is for. It's dedicated to Emperor Meiji. Now, he was the guy, the central figure, who oversaw Japan's lightning-fast shift from a feudal samurai-run society into the modern industrial powerhouse it became. So get this super peaceful, traditional shrine is actually a monument to the single biggest contrast in all of Japan's history. Mind-blowing, right? Okay, for our last example, let's look at how these contrasts are literally built right into the city's skyline. We're heading over to Ginza, Tokyo's hub of ultra-luxe chic, where the buildings themselves tell the story of two dueling identities. So, Ginza's whole modern vibe was really born from the ashes, after it was rebuilt following this massive earthquake back in 1923. Now, today, it's home to the world's fanciest brands, and its buildings have become this literal battleground between the past and the future. And you can see this architectural duel playing out perfectly right here. So on one side, you've got the Wako building. See that iconic clock tower? That's a piece of pre-war architecture that somehow even survived World War II. It's all about resilience, about history. And then right across from it, you have the Tokyo Plaza with that insane, kaleidoscopic, futuristic entrance. That's a bold symbol of Japan's super cutting-edge design. It's the past and the future, literally standing side by side on the same street corner. So what's the big takeaway here? What does all this mean? Well, it means you just can't separate these contrasts from what Tokyo is. The neon and the nature, the chaos and the calm, they're not just different flavors of the city. No, the friction between them, that's what creates Tokyo's unique energy. Its identity is the contrast. You see, the real magic of Tokyo isn't just in the famous landmarks you see on postcards. It's in the spaces between them. It's this endless treasure chest of culture that you only find when you lean into these dualities. The real soul of the city, it lives in that quiet little alley right next to the roaring intersection, or in that ancient shrine just a stone's throw from the trendiest new boutique. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. If a city's whole identity is defined by this constant push and pull between old and new, loud and quiet, tradition and crazy innovation, then where does its true identity really lie? Is it in one extreme, the other? Or is it somewhere in that beautiful, impossible space right in the middle? Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer.